Welcome to Kotor, a true gem in the heart of Montenegro with its charming medieval old town, breathtaking natural surroundings, and rich history. It's easily one of our favorite places in the Balkans. Over the next few days, we'll dive into everything this incredible city has to offer, from exploring its historic streets and landmarks to taking in panoramic mountain views, cruising along a scenic river, and of course, indulging in delicious local cuisines. Montenegro may be one of Europe's most underrated destinations, but we're here to show you why it deserves a spot on your travel list. After exploring Montenegro for 1 month, we're finally going to explore the city of Kotor, which is actually a popular cruise destination, and we did look online and there shouldn't be any boats that's stopping here today, but over the course of today and tomorrow we're going to walk you through sort of 2 different ideas that you can do. One's going to be exploring the Old Town, hike, and some other stuff, while the other one we're actually going to do a tour of a day trip, which I'm super excited about because there's going to be national parks involved. We hope. So starting this morning, we're actually at one of the entrances to the Old Town, the Sea Gate, which we learned through one of the walking tours we did a couple days ago, that boats used to go right up to the Sea Gate. Yeah, it just used to be like a fortress. But we're actually not going to take you through this entrance because we want to show you one of the other ones that looks pretty cool.
So on the walking tour, she was explaining that this section right here was a pier where they used to put their boats, and all of this was water, and they built a plateau on it. So we lied. We're gonna go in this part first because it's probably gonna get way more crowded throughout the day. We're starting around like 7:30, so it's pretty empty right now, but this is one of the main squares.
We're actually gonna show you the Arms Square. And in this square, you can actually see there's a large clock tower here, and there's also a smaller pillar that was used to publicly shame people in the square. What would happen is, back in the time, you would stand there, 2 guards would be side by side. Basically, people can kind of go to the house, grab rotten vegetables, and it was a way to say, hey, don't do what this person did. And you'll also see that there's a governor palace over here as well. And one thing we also learned is that the larger the balcony, the richer the family, and a lot of the wealthier families were the ones who actually lived in the Old Town. And the clock tower is still operated by one of the families from now it's the 6th generation, and they still maintain it. But yeah, it's one of the first greetings that you'll see, and we're gonna stop here first because it's gonna get pretty crowded, and we kind of have it all to ourselves because it's 7 a.m. and we got an early start to the day.
They have a ton of little kitties in Kotor, and they're all so friendly. We actually learned that they're vaxxed and waxed, and they vaccinate them and sterilize them too. So they're all, and everyone just takes care of them. There's food everywhere, like little owners have like food bowls for them. They even have a square called Cat Square, where there's just a lot of cats. So just outside of Sea Gate is a big old market. It's not giant, but it has a ton of fruits and veggies and olives, meat, fish, but it's a cool spot, and I will say they have more fruit options here than they typically do at the grocery store. So we're probably gonna come back here and get some veggies for dinner. So this is the South Gate, and this gate's really cool because it still has the counterweights to like lift and lower it. I don't think they work, but there's this giant pond, you get the mountains in the background, and it is just so beautiful. But this is where we're actually going to start going through the city a little bit more, so let's enter back into Old Town.
This gate is one of my favorites because just right after you enter is this viewpoint. Now, this isn't actually the one I thought we were gonna get to. I thought it was the one that's like right over there, but you still get to go up and get some sort of view, but you're blocked off from like the actual wall where there's different crevices.
They love their cats here. The one thing that's really cool about this city is that you can get up to the wall at different parts and you don't have to pay for it, which is awesome because I feel like a lot of cities, they like make you pay to go on the wall, but there's portions of this one that you can just go up for free. We're on the wall! And you get a beautiful view of the Kotor Bay. I just love it because when you come up, there's like someone's house right on the top of the wall, and there's like laundry hanging out. And then there's just like a guard tower. Like, it's just so cool how it's all mixed together and infused with people actually living here and history. What a fun place to live. Yeah, I live on a fortress wall. I really like being on the fortress wall, especially like when you're in line with the roofs, and then you can see different details that you wouldn't be able to see from the ground level. But it's just a fun, different perspective of the city.
That's like old towns that will make you feel tall, but I'm so short, so I didn't have a head.
I just love how cute and cozy these little alleyways are. It's not a huge old town, but these streets are so cute. And we are currently in St. Tryphone's Square because this is the church St. Tryphone's, and they were very literal with their square names. So a lot of them just have like to the point ones. Bread square, salad square, which is kind of funny, but I appreciate their directness. But one thing that we learned is that a lot of these buildings have been destroyed through earthquakes over the years and then reconstructed. And when they rebuild them, a lot of times they rebuild it to the style that was in. So you can see different types of architecture in all the different buildings that have been reconstructed.
This building is another museum, but it actually has significance because it was from a family which I forgot the country's origins. However, they introduced a way to reinforce the buildings because of all the earthquakes, which you can see through the black bars, and so they brought that technique into Kotor. And then all the other buildings were like, hey, that's a great idea. They started to copy it, which is kind of just interesting to see like where they get different influences and how the city evolved over time. So this fountain, although there's no water coming out of it because one of the earthquakes shifted the tectonic plates, but it used to be where they used to get the old tea because they'd go there, wash clothes, and eventually they would stop washing the clothes and start gossiping. So it's just fun to explore all these like different quirks throughout this old town. We're taking a quick pit stop next to the Kotor Cathedral at Montenegro, which we heard has really good coffee. And that's just a nice thing about Old Town. There's a plethora of places to choose from to eat, and we're just gonna get a quick little bite before we continue exploring some of Old Town. This coffee is good.
And you'll probably have a little buddy that's gonna join you wherever you are too. That was delicious, but now let's go see some more of Old Town. This next square that we're in is called the Bread Square because there used to be a lot of bakeries in it, but now it has one of the best preserved palaces that has a giant balcony and a big terrace on it, and it's very beautiful. And across from it is this building that has been bought out by 3 different families, and you can kind of see the 3 different family styles in the building. So it's a really cute little square once again. So many cute squares in this place. So Kotor's Old Town has over 12 different churches, and this square is called St. Lucas Square, and it has 2 of the Christian Orthodox churches. So there's the old one and then the new one. So the new one's very big. We haven't been inside of it, so I'm excited to go see all the different paintings and how it looks.
And right around the corner is another church, and it took over 10 years to build the inside of this one because there's 3 different shades of marble. There's gold, red, and white, and the artist had them imported here. And we also learned that there's only 1% of people in Montenegro are atheists because of the influences just of all the different religions. And so it's very interesting, but it's right on cue. It just turned 9:30 and we're starting to see large tours gather around. And we have one more stop we want to show you before we end our tour of Old Town.
And this square is unofficially called Cat Square because there's a ton of cats here. They have little cat homes for them, and they give them food, and they give them a little place to stay. And there's just a ton of cats in this area, and there's little baby kittens too. Meow. in this area, there's also a way to go back up to the wall, whoop, through these stairs. So you can go up the stairs and you're back at the top of the fortress wall. There's also the North Gate entrance, which takes you outside of Old Town. And then right behind this church, there is an entrance to go up the fortress wall. Except if you go up this way, it's 15 euros and you can go up to the top of Kotor. But we're gonna go a different way that is free because we're all about saving the dollar here. So we're gonna exit out of North Gate and show you the way. So we made a quick stop at our Airbnb to get some lunch. I changed into some hiking clothes and now we're gonna go on the free hike to the top of Kotor. And it starts by leaving Old Town and going past the old power plant and hiking up what used to be the road that would take people to like the top of Kotor. But now it's a hiking trail.
I was dodging some bugs right there.
I was like, what are you doing?
But you can see Old Town's just over there, and we're like barely outside. It's probably like a 3-minute walk to Old Town to the start of this hike. We already see the staircase going up, and we did learn that this pathway, the stairs, aren't as steep as if you paid for it to the entrance. So if that's something that you consider with your hikes, this one should be a little easier.
And it's gonna take about 1.3 miles to get to the top, and we'll have beautiful views of the bay.
So let's check it out.
There's also a hike that you can do into the canyon that goes this way.
And right next door is also an entry point to an sketchy abandoned building, but I don't think we're gonna do that. We're gonna stay focused today. We'll see.
5 minutes in, we've already gone up quite a bit. It's just a bunch of switchbacks, back and forth up this cliff. And it's just so beautiful. There's pomegranate trees, old road that looks rugged. So we still got a ways to go, but so far, very nice.
This trail also gives you great panoramic views of the bay, and it's just enjoyable to hike with like seeing your end destination in sight with like the fortress wall being at the top. It's like really picturesque.
You're starting to see the different shades of blue in the bay, and it's just amazing.
Wow, I didn't even notice that. Cool.
Wild. So about half a mile into the hike, there's this little house that sells cheese and wine. They're closed for the season, but it looks really cute and they have an amazing view. But for us, we gotta keep on going. Man, I was really hoping for some cheese and wine. Next time. We've gone just a little bit farther past that little cheese shop, and now we're like into the ruins. There's ruins everywhere. We're close to getting to the entrance of the fortress where we have to climb over the ladder, which is where this hike gets the name, Ladder of Kotor. So let's go find it. I don't like breaking the rules. The ladder's gone. All the stickers are covering the sign, so I don't know if it says like no entrance or ladder entrance. But this ladder is supposed to be up to this window, but it looks like it's been like crushed. So it looks like they're trying to say, don't go this way. It's not allowed, so we're not gonna do it. We're gonna turn back around. There's some more hiking that we can do over in this area, but I'm a rule follower, so I'm not gonna do it. But I will say we have seen like a bunch of people going in and out of the window, so I think it's, you know, fine. But for me, I'm gonna say maybe not.
So the responsible thing to do is when you're unsure to not do it. But while we were waiting and like going back and forth, people were going in front of us, said, hey, you were here first, you want to go? It's like, yeah, we're unsure. One of them who has been living here for 2 years said that if you go in that way, to go down that way, if not, you can get fined. And I don't know, it just seems out of our comfort zone. But luckily, there is another viewpoint you can actually hike to on the same route. So we're gonna go check out that viewpoint instead. And I'm sure it's gonna have some pretty great views. And just around the corner, you have like your first ruined building you can go into. So it's like we're getting our own little experience over here.
Wow, you can still see like some of the paint that's on the wall. This was an old church, so you can still see like the paintings on the ceilings and the walls. This is really cool.
Yeah. Whoa, actually I didn't not notice that.
I wonder what it would look like when it was like in its prime.
Yeah. The area we entered in is also like in some mountains, so it's also kind of cool. And we can see up ahead where the trail continues, you go through a little bit more ruins. So we're gonna get our own different experience on this side of the hike.
This is a good place for a fortress because it's just like a sheer wall they would have to climb up. Wow. This is like a really cool area to walk around and like just wonder like what was here back in the day. Like you just see ruins on ruins. It's really cool actually. One of my favorite parts of the city.
We made it to our viewpoint and all I can say is wow.
It's a good viewpoint. It's totally worth it just to do this hike, just for this view. It's just so beautiful.
And it wasn't really crowded at all. We maybe saw like a handful of people on the way up, where I'm assuming the other hike path probably would have saw a lot more. So this is great, just had this view sort of all to ourselves.
And I will say we are here in the beginning of November, so that could also have to do with the crowds.
Okay.
What? It's off season.
Yeah.
Shoulder season.
So now what's the game plan?
I think I saw a cheese and wine shop on our way. Head back down, let's get some cheese and wine.
And there's also a way to go upwards, so
Maybe we'll go up.
we'll let you know, but for now we're gonna enjoy this view.
So we decided that we were not gonna go higher up on the hike. It looks beautiful, but we've been doing a lot of hiking lately, so we decided we're gonna go down, try and find some good cheese and some yummy prosciutto. But for now, we're going down, down, down. The place is open. It has a beautiful view. And so now we enjoy a beverage and some snacks. Super small little place, just like I think it's someone's home, and they offer food and snacks.
Smells like cat.
It does smell like cat. Yeah, I've seen like 3 cats. So we didn't get the cheese and meat, but we did get some wine.
I don't even know if it was an option. There's no menu. Just kind of walked up. I was like, drink? I was like, yeah, of course. Live with this view. Cheers, man.
Cheers. Ooh, that does not taste like wine. That tastes like fruit juice. That's delicious. You know, usually wine has like a little bite to it, but this is very good. And I just love you get a view of the fortress, the bay. It's just so gorgeous. I think this might be better than hiking up to the top.
Oh, for sure. I see goats coming down.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, are those your goats?
O, super, jest! O, super, o, dobra, evo i dolazi, sad ću ja da vidim. Evo i dolazi. Hvala, hvala.
Hvala.
We paid for a wine, €8, which I don't know if that's a good deal or a bad deal. I have no idea.
I think it's good. We paid more for one drink.
That is true. We went out to get a beer and it was like €12. I was like, what is going on here? But we see some goats coming down the mountain, so I think we're gonna wait. I think they're their goats, so we're gonna see if they come to us.
Oh.
Oh, they're so cute. There's some stragglers up there. Oh no.
All the food's gonna be gone. Well, this is a nice surprise.
I know.
If we're so close. We should have got some of their cheese.
Do you think it's their goat cheese?
Probably. And why else would you have goats?
Should we buy some goat cheese?
I think it's too late.
For me, in case they come to get me. She gave me a stick. So they don't bite me. Oh, because there's some bullies. There's some meanies up in this group.
Show us your stick.
Give me a stick. They don't mean any harm.
Oh.
So I have my stick. I think I got
You're doing great.
goats.
Becky's helping herd the goats. This is amazing. This is very, very comical. I honestly don't even know where they went. The lady at the restaurant house just gave Becky a steak. It was like, hey, here you go. And they kind of just left and where did the goats that way? Oh, there they are.
They're in their home for the night.
Good job, Becky.
Thank you. I stepped into the position as best I could.
Thank you.
Voila.
Hvala puno. Ćao, bila.
you.
Hvala. Ćao. Hvala puno. Ćao,
Ciao,
ćao.
ciao. That was so fun. She just gave me a stick. I didn't really know what was going on. They were eating their food. I thought she gave it to me for protection. And then she was like, no, we're like taking them to their home for the night. And I was like, oh. Well, she didn't say that because she speaks Montenegrin and I do not. But we got them to their home for the night. I'm pretty sure I stepped in stinging nettle because she said watch out for the plants and I did not watch out. But it was a lot of fun. They're such cute little goats. And it's so wild because you would not think that there was a little goat farm back there, but there is.
This is honestly why I love traveling so much. You can't make up scenarios like that happening. Like we were just stopping for a quick wine. Next thing you know, Becky's herding goats.
Oh, it's just so much fun. And this lady, she was just in these mountains. I was like, get it, girl. And she's just trying to tell me what to do. And I'm like, I'm trying my best. But it was so fun. She's so sweet. You know, gave me a handshake, told me thank you. I was like, I don't know if I was very much help, but you're welcome.
No, you definitely got one back on the main path. They were scared of you. Like they were approaching you with the stick,
Yeah.
and then they backed up. They knew like you were in control. It was just kind of funny.
That's right. But she's so sweet.
That was honestly so much fun, and my mouth hurts from smiling so much from the interaction. Just didn't see that one coming.
Oh, they're such cute little goats too. And here's the guy that's picking pomegranates too that gave us our wine. Man, incredible.
So now, after that random goat encounter, we're gonna go back to the place we're staying and wash up and then get ready to go get some traditional Montenegrin food. And so I'm excited to just be able to eat more of it because we've been here for a while, but we've been making a lot of the meals just because, you know, helps with the budget.
We have not been trying a lot of Montenegrin food yet, so.
But today we will, and I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. Another wild thing that happened while we were traveling in Montenegro is that there was a time change last Sunday, and we didn't know about it. We were like, wow, it got dark really early. And so now it's 4 o'clock and the sun is setting. Like, I feel like it gets darker here even earlier than in the States. I could be making it up, but it's 4 o'clock and it seems like it should be 7 or 8 at night.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. It just happened overnight. Like, we've been waking up relatively early. And the sunrise was just really popping one day. I didn't even think anything of it. And then I found out, time change. Who knew?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of time changes in different countries. For some reason I completely forgot that other countries would even have time changes. Silly me. But here we are, 4 o'clock, sunset, walking down a mountain, beautiful views all around.
Herded goats.
Herded goats, having a ball. So we are on our way to what is said to be the oldest restaurant in Kotor, and hopefully they have a lot of traditional delicacies that we can try out. But it's fun walking around Old Town at night because there's even less people than in the morning sometimes, and the streets are all lit up, the cats are still roaming, but I'm hungry.
Cheers. We got a Nixkovo, if I'm saying this correctly. It's a lager from the second largest town, and it's a staple in Montenegro. You have to at least try it once while you're here. it's really good on draft.
Starting off with some fresh bread, some balsamic vinegar, and olive oil that he said is from around here. I love balsamic vinegar. Good way to start a dinner is with some bread. We're starting off with fish soup, and Kotor Bay is obviously on the bay, so seafood is a very big part of the food that they have. So we have fish soup, which kind of looks like chicken noodle soup, but instead of chicken, it's fish, and there's no noodles. But the broth looks like super clear. It smells good. That's a solid bowl of soup. It's funny because when we were in the mountains, they had like veal soup, and down here, it's fish soup. Their soups are so good around here. I like it because the fish isn't overpowering. It's just like very subtle and delicious.
We're starting off with a spicy pasta. It's probably not traditional, but it sounded really good. And the food is nice and hot, and I am really excited. Great vibes. That was an amazing bite. Very flavorful. Honestly, a solid spot.
Is it spicy?
Not spicy, but very garlicky, and that's very good for pasta.
Now I got the black risotto, which uses cuttlefish ink to make it look black. That is so good. It's garlicky too. I don't really know quite how to describe like the taste of it, but it's very good. I wonder if it'll make my teeth black.
Nice. Let's eat. Dinner was a lot of fun. I knew we were off to a great start when our plates came out warm, our silverware was warm, and they gave us a wet wipe. I don't know, it all kind of seemed random, but enjoyable experience.
Probably one of the best services that we've had in Montenegro. Very friendly dude. But tomorrow we have a tour plan, and we're not 100% sure if it's happening. It's one of those things, I went in, I was like, hey, can we like book the tour? And they're like, oh, do it online, we're not sure if it's gonna happen or not. And I was like, okay. So I booked it, and I haven't heard that it's not happening, so I'm hoping that that means it is happening. But we'll see tomorrow.
Good morning from our Airbnb, which is actually in a perfect location because it's about 1 minute from Old Town. We sort of spent this morning just relaxing, getting ready for our next adventure.
And I'm really excited because I know a little bit more about what this tour entails, but Brandon has no idea. So it will be exciting just to see how it goes, and I'm hoping that we're gonna be the only ones on the tour. Probably won't happen, but it's always fun when you have it all to yourself. You're like, oh, it's private, but really it was supposed to be a group tour.
And all I pretty much know is there's gonna be national parks involved, driving, and a lot of stops. And so all that sounds great to me.
All right, let's go.
Guys, we can do 3, 3, and 1 in front. You agree who sits where, okay?
So we got into our car. We have a couple other friends with us, and we drove up an Austro-Hungarian road, which is like a one-way road that's super curvy, and I think he said it goes up to 5160 meters. And we have a beautiful viewpoint of Kotor Bay. But now, time to get back into the car. I think our next stop is breakfast. We made it to our second stop, which is where the mausoleum starts and where we're getting breakfast. And we're getting the Montenegrin breakfast, which comes with eggs, prosciutto, ham. And we got dropped off here. And you can just see so many different things of Montenegro. We can see the lake we're going to, the mountains of Albania. And I'm just so excited. This has been really fun. Breakfast is not included in the price, but it's $7 per meal, I guess. So let's go eat.
just started the 461 steps. Lunch was pretty great. Traditional Montenegrin breakfast hit the spot. And this is like a little lookout point on what's to come. But apparently the best views are up top. And we're getting behind. I'm a little winded. We're gonna catch up.
Go, go, go.
Wow, this is incredible. Totally worth it. It's like a 360 panoramic views of Montenegro. And the mausoleum's behind us. It does when you run up and down them a little bit. Probably shouldn't have done that. A little winded.
Wow.
This is awesome. This tour so far, unexpectedly great.
Yeah.
We get to go inside the mausoleum, but honestly just being up here is really cool already because you can see a lot of Montenegro, Albania, the mountains. I'm excited being here. Let's go.
So we got to go to the top of this mountain, and on the mountain is a mausoleum of one of the most beloved rulers of Montenegro. They call him Yagesh, but his name is Peter, but they said there's a lot of rulers named Peter, so they called him Yagesh, which is actually the town where he was born. And so there's a mausoleum up here, and then they have a beautiful viewpoint where you can see 60% of Montenegro, and you can also see Albania. On very clear days, you can see Italy, but it is a beautiful view, and you just see mountains everywhere. You can see the Bay of Kotor. Mountains just popping out everywhere. It's gorgeous. I think you have to come here if you're in the Bay of Kotor. It's not too far away.
Honestly, I don't even think the cameras went justice because it really is like a full 360 view of Montenegro, and being able to see 60% of the country from one lookout point. Where else can you get that? Some other interesting things about the mausoleum is that when you first walk in, you'll see two female statues, and depending on who you ask, it's called mother and daughter or daughter and sister, but you can see the statue of the mother because the hand's over the tummy, and you can walk in the building, and wow, it was actually really incredible in there. The statue, I think he said it was like 28 tons now, and there's also the equivalent of 1 million euros worth of gold that was donated by Italy on the ceiling of the place because he spent a good amount of his lifetime in Italy as well, and kind of made the donation to him. But really beloved ruler of Montenegro. He did a lot of progressive and great things, and just a great stop. Honestly, kind of bummed out we missed Peak Fall here, but it's a incredible tour so far. And the ruler chose this spot because it kind of overlooks Montenegro, so even like, and he really believed in the afterlife, and so it's his way of like still looking over the people of Montenegro, and he picked a great location for a lookout.
So we're making our way down to Skoda Lake, and he was like, do y'all want to take the scenic route or the main road? So we decided to take the scenic route, of course, and it took you down this teeny tiny road with some beautiful overlooks. And now we're at a part where it's called Horseshoe Bend, where there's a big river that's a tributary to the lake. And it's just been so beautiful. Like, every part of Montenegro is just so gorgeous. I love it here. He picked us some wild pomegranate. That's pretty good. It's real sour, makes you go. We see pomegranate trees everywhere around here. I'm glad he got us one. Look, he picked it right from this tree. We made it down to the base of the river, and now we get to go on a little boat tour too. Such a fun little adventure. It has everything. But we're gonna go on about a 45-minute boat ride through the river. We're hopefully gonna see some birds because there's a lot of birds here, a lot of lily pads, before we get some lunch. That was a nice, quick boat ride with mountains all around us. The water was calm, there was birds, dragonflies, beauty. I feel relaxed, but now I am quite hungry, so I'm excited to have some lunch. We're gonna get fish that was caught in the lake. that's nearby.
So after the boat ride, we did go to dinner, but because we're in a group setting and more intimate, we didn't necessarily want to record dinner, but we had fish soup, and a dessert, and it was all really delicious. And then after that, we headed to one of the towns that we passed earlier, which actually used to be one of the old capitals of Montenegro. And so we're gonna do a walking tour of the city. I guess not one of the old capitals, it just used to be an old capital of Montenegro, which now we're gonna do a walking tour of it. So really excited. This tour has been pretty diverse. There's a boat ride, there's a walking tour, basically like a food tour, sightseeing. So much needs to do, but it's time to start the tour.
Walking tour is very interesting. It was probably a town that we would have never gone to if it weren't for us going on this day trip. It took us to used to be the old capital of Montenegro, and we stopped by this church that was built by the only king Montenegro ever had, and apparently his remains are in that church as well. So that was really interesting to see. And we stopped by this monastery that has some important holy relics, and one of them is said to be the right hand of John the Baptist, which is a pretty big deal. And since it was the capital, it had a lot of the old embassy buildings that were really fancy and pretty, and we were walking around during sunset, and it was just so beautiful and a really cute and cozy town. And then we wrapped up our tour and headed back to Kotor, and now we're here. It's really nice because we don't have a car, so it got us to a lot of places that we couldn't reach without getting a car, hard to get to by bus. I will say you will have to pay for the entrance fees to the park and to get to certain things, and that's a total of 16 euros per person. And then you have to pay for your meals as well. So it's not like an all-inclusive tour. You still have to pay for food and entrances. But overall, spectacular. The company was really easy to work with. I would highly recommend going with probably any of their tours.
And Montenegro kind of surprised us, I will say.
Yeah, I love it here. I want to come back. But we have to go and see some other places, and we're gonna go to country number 14, Albania, which is just a bus ride away.
Yeah, and we actually leave tomorrow, so thank you Montenegro for having us. Hopefully y'all liked all of our Montenegro videos. Fall here was 10 out of 10. We enjoyed every second, but until then, we'll see y'all in Albania.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.